welcome to this week's video. For this week, I'm going to be doing my wrap-up for the month of November. Um, Not a great month, but we will, a bunch of DNFs, unfortunately, but one anthology with a bunch of wonderful little stories in it that I would love to tell you about. So first we'll start with the DNFs. We will do the ebook and Audible firsts. Unfortunately, the ebook that I was reading, All or Nothing by Natalie Ann, I got a little over halfway through, and it was promising. It was about this nurse and this ex-Navy SEAL guy who they both had a lot of baggage, both had a lot of emotional problems, and were sort of working through them together, but they still had like a lot of walls up and not letting each other in on like what those secrets were. But sexy times. And I was enjoying it. I thought it was a little slow, but I DNF'd it at the point where they have sex, and I think it's either he forgets the condom or they decide not to have sex with the condom. I can't remember right now, but she sort of like rolls it off like, oh, like, don't worry, I'm on the pill, or some sort of thing like that, which stop that, because STDs are a thing. And also, I didn't like the sort of, I don't like when they kind of like fetishize the not having the condom thing. Like, I think I've been guilty of that a few times, and if I could go back and change that attitude, I would do it. And like, I try and not to do it. I try and like keep in my consciousness not to do it now, because learning. But I don't like the idea of putting it out there that to promote the idea that sex without a condom is like so much better, because I think it's sort of tempting the idea of, or tempting to like promote the idea of sex without a condom, and sort of like dangling the temptation of somebody people who are dating and who will have sex, and they have that temptation to like not use a condom because it'll be so much better. I think when you do that in a romance novel, it doesn't work for me. I don't like it, and that sort of pulled me out of the story enough to make me just stop reading. So unfortunately, that was where I stopped reading with that one. But I made it till like a little over half, and yeah, I liked it up to that point, but just didn't really like blow me away or anything. The next one was a DNF in Audible, and it was Good Boy by Serena Bowen and L. Kennedy. And I DNF'd that one for two reasons. It played off like a romantic comedy where it's the sister, I think it's sister of the bride, or no, the sister of the brother, sister of the groom, I believe, was planning the wedding, and she was sort of the stereotypical like screw up, and the whole family would like put her down, but like do it in a way that like they would think of it as like playful, but it's really just annoying and hurtful. But of course they wouldn't see it that way. They would be like, oh, you're too sensitive and blah blah blah. But it reminded me sort of Monica's mother in Friends, where um yeah, where she was always like kind of like putting her down under the guise of like caring about her kind of thing. Um and I DNF'd this one because the narrator didn't work for me. The female narrator, she didn't work for me. She played it off like it was a romantic comedy. She used like a romantic comedy voice. Like when you're reading the book, the character doesn't know she's in a romantic comedy. So she would be, like talking like this, like just normal, in her own like thoughts and stuff. She would be talking like this and just normal conversation and that kind of stuff. But the narrator played it off like, oh, I can't believe this, and then this happened, and then this happened. Like, oh my god, my life, my this, my that. I'm like, and it was just really just did not work for me. And when I DNF'd was the premise of it is that the sister of the groom is planning their wedding, and she had a fling with the best man, who she purportedly hates, because she considers him annoying or whatever. But in a moment of weakness, they slept together, and he is sort of like the happy-go-lucky, jokey kind of guy, or is portrayed as that. And so she's been trying to ignore him after the sexy times, but he is like constantly messaging her and like wanting to get together and just wanting to, I guess, make more of the relationship, I guess. And at one point he sends her a dick pic. Now that's when I stopped reading, because there's funny and then there's just gross. It's one thing, okay, if you're in a relationship with somebody and the two of you want to send like intimate pictures of each other, that's one thing. If the two of you have like set already, like you're in a relationship and you love each other and you're being playful and that kind of thing. But if it's like a one night stand and he's trying to like make more of it, that's not the way. Just no, that's not funny, that's not flirty, that's just gross. And I just did not work for me like at all. So I just no bueno with the ebooks and the audibles this month. So that's there. Now to the paperbacks. Oy, okay. I have had this biography on my TBR for some odd, like, I would say over 20 years. Easily over 20 years. And I keep like starting it and then like not finishing it. And then something else gets my attention. Starting it, not finishing it. Which is funny because I actually, this actress is freaking iconic. Elizabeth Taylor. Biography of Elizabeth Taylor by C. David Heyman. And I finally, like, I buckled down. I was like, I'm gonna finish this mammoth motherfucker, because I've read bigger books than this. But for some reason, I just kept picking it up and putting it down, picking it up and putting it down. And I did not finish this one. But the reason I did not finish this one is because I don't, like, it's not an authorized biography, first of all. And it just felt like you follow, like, Liz Taylor's story from, like, her birth to, I got into, like, up to two of her marriages. Because if you know her story, you know that she gets married, like, 8 times or something. She's no longer with us, rest in peace. But I felt like a lot of what I read just felt like mean-spirited. and sort of like tabloidy. Like, it didn't feel like, it was interesting, but for some reason, like, as I was reading it, it didn't feel real to me. It felt like he was deliberately picking the most um, salacious and like the stories that would paint her sort of in the worst light. And sort of, I stopped reading because I think she was an amazing actress. I mean, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof is still one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, Liz Taylor, Paul Newman, just, oh my God, I love that movie. I love that movie so, so much. Um, so yeah, like, I didn't finish it. Maybe if I don't know if she ever did an authorized biography. I have to look that up. But maybe if, yeah, I'll pick up something else about that from in reference to her. I will say he also did the biography for Barbara Hutton, who was the poor little rich girl, the heiress who inherited Woolworths, I think it was, which I don't think we have a Woolworths anymore. I don't think that exists. Does it still exist in the States? I don't know. But it was made into the miniseries that starred Farrah Fawcett, which I loved that miniseries so much. I loved that miniseries so much, and it was based on a biography from this same man. So now I sort of have to look at it like, but I loved it so much. Yeah. But so I did not finish that one. Let me see how I'm gonna move this over. Okay. The next one was Sula by Toni Morrison. Now, look at the size of this book. Not that big. But I did not finish it. Why? Because it's supposedly the story about these two friends who grow up, and I guess one of them like betrays the other, and yeah. How many pages? First of all, let me just say, I loved her writing voice. Like, Toni Morrison could like lull me into a nap with her writing voice. And I mean that as a compliment. Not that like she could put me to sleep, but she can put me to sleep in the most wonderful way with her writing voice. 174 pages. Okay. The first 20 pages or so are all about this dude who founds the town that the story is set in. And I'm like, okay, if you have 175 pages to tell your story, why are you wasting it 20 pages on a not Sula, but random dude who founds the town? Then we move further into the story, and we get, I think, like one scene where in like the first 80 or so pages, where it's described that Sula and Nell are friends. That's it. Like, that's pretty much like all like we see in the first like 80 or so pages. We do get the story of, I think, like her grandmother and her mother, and I think the grandmother had a son who was like a heroin addict, and so to solve that problem, she sets him on fire. She burns him alive. She blows up their house, something like that. And that's when I DNF'd. Because I wanted Sula's story, and I was not getting Sula's story. I was getting heroin addicts being blown up, set on fire. So, unfortunately, as much as I love her writing voice, her structural style did not work for me. Just no, no, no. Ditto, unfortunately, for Ernest Hemingway with The Sun Also Rises. Now, I know that these books are classics, and I know that these writers are, again, like, I love his writing voice. I love his writing style. But structurally, dude, I'm opening the story and I want to hear about Jake Barnes and Lady Brett Ashley. I'm opening the story and he's telling me the story about this boxer dude for like the longest time. And I'm like, I don't care about this person. I want to know about you. And just, again, like, structurally, just no. And I think I had the same problem with The Great Gatsby, which story-wise is one of my favorite books. Structure-wise, I think that's why I love the movie version with Robert Redford and Mia Farrow. Shut the front door. I love that movie so much. Because it focused on Robert Redford and Mia Farrow. The book is told from, of Great Gatsby, getting a little off topic here, is told from the point of view of a random dude named Nick the narrator. I don't care about Nick. I didn't care about Nick. I wanted to know about Gatsby and Daisy. Same thing here. So that did not work for me, unfortunately. And again, it's a case of the writing style, the writing voice I liked, writing structure, just no. And I'm very glad, and this might be sacrilege for some people, but I'm very glad that contemporary writing, for the most part, doesn't do that. They don't tell me a story about the characters via an outside character, sort of like looking in kind of thing. I want to be in the story with the characters who are the main characters of the story. Same reason I can't get into Anna Karenina. I couldn't get into it because Anna Karenina and her affair with Vronsky wasn't the focus of the story. The focus of the story was Leo and what was his, Kitty, I think, and their love affair, and just no, that didn't work. Another one that unfortunately didn't work was The Space Between Us by Thridi Umrigar. Now, I will say again, I loved the writing style. I loved the writing voice. I just didn't like the character. What was her name? Oh, jeez. Bhima. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, and I apologize. Bhima. And she has, she's an old woman, which she has a granddaughter who is pregnant, Maya. And there's this whole big secret about who is the father of Maya's baby. And it sort of felt weird to me that this story was being told through the grandmother's point of view. And I didn't find her very likable. Like, in the beginning of the book, she wants to kill her granddaughter. And she mentions this a few times. She wants to kill her granddaughter. She wants to kill the baby inside of her. Which, okay, I understand. Like, y'all are poor, and this is like another hardship for y'all. And yes, I completely understand. And I can understand feelings of rage that you can't control, that you know are wrong, and she acknowledges that. But I just didn't find her a very likable character. I didn't want the story through Bhima's point of view. I wanted it through Maya's. I wanted her point of view. And I will say, I guessed who the father was right away. I knew who the father was right away, and I hated him. And I hated the resolution. I hated what happened, like what he did, and just no. Just no, no, no. This just was not. His book was just depressing. It was just depressing. But again, I love the writing style. I love the writing voice. Just the story did not work for me, and the point of view character did not work for me. So now we get to my lovely treasure trove of Regency romance. Oh, good gravy, there are some goodies in here. This was where all my goodies were. All my yummy, yummy, wonderful, wonderfulness was spent. An amazing treasure trove of Regency romance called The Mammoth Book of Regency Romance, edited by Trisha Tellep. And I marked my favorite stories. The Desperate Measures by Candace Hearn. And I'll try and like go through these just quickly, but this one was about she's in love with this guy, and so she sets up a meeting with this other guy to make him jealous, and it's just, it goes like, I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah, I enjoyed it very, very much. Upon a Midnight Clear by Anna Campbell, who is fantastic. And this one is a lot of them are second chance romances, which I think work best in short stories, because I found like the ones where they were just first meeting and they fall in love so quickly, they just didn't really work for me. But Upon a Midnight Clear was Sebastian and Alicia, and they had been married, and I think it was, I can't remember why they broke up, but they end up getting back together, thankfully, because happy endings and all. And it was, yeah, it was, I think he kidnaps her, and, yeah, it was, yeah, loved it. The next one, Cinders and Ash, was, I think, a retelling of, yes, a sort of a, Cinderella kind of, take on a Cinderella sort of retelling, kind of, and that was like really, I loved it very much. His Wicked Revenge by Vanessa Kelly. I'm trying to remember what was you. What was this one? Oh, he wants to get revenge on her, because, oh yeah, they were childhood sweethearts, and of course her family didn't approve, so they beat the snot out of him and sort of like ruin his life, and she is forced to get married because she is preggers. And then, so now he's back, and he's a pirate, and he's rich, and he wants his revenge. But feelings. Lady Invisible by Patricia Rice, who wrote one of my keeper shelf books, Wayward Angel. Loved it. This one I liked, but sort of not on that same level. He is looking for he's looking for a wife for his daughter, because I think the mother died. I believe the mother died, and so he's looking for a wife. but he's looking for like a proper wife. And of course, the one that he falls in love with, I think he remembers that he knew her, I think, when they were children, and she is like this completely improper woman who just sort of like does her own thing and doesn't really like, she sort of flouts society's conventions, and yeah, so really really enjoyed that one. Stolen by Emma Wilds. Oh, these are the two that they're best friends, and he's always like kind of like been in love with her, but he's sort unrequited, you know, and so he's sort of that one that she sort of drags into all her schemes. And I loved this one so much. Oh my god, this one was so good. So she convinces him to steal back her father's some sort of like father's academic papers or something like that that this evil guy stole. And it, oh, I love that one so very much. The Weatherly's Ball by Christy Kelly. I think this one is she thought he was dead, and now he's back. So it's sort of like back from the dead romance. Enjoyed it very much. Loved it. French Intuition by Delilah Marvell. This one is a they were married and now they're separated, and I think because she had miscarried, and I think more than once she'd miscarried, and it sort of drove this wedge between them, and so they were like apart, and he thinks that she cheated on him, and it's sort of they're kind of like finding their way back to each other, and it's a beautiful short story. Loved it. Gretna Green by Sharon Page. What were you about? Oh, I think it was she helps girls who don't want to, she helps girls escape arranged marriages. And I think he was, I know he is the brother of one of the girls that she's helping. But I don't remember why they had split up. But yeah, I remember that like she'd helped girls escaped arranged marriages, and that he was the brother of one of the girls. Little Miss Independent by Julia Templeton. Oh, I think this was, she's being courted by this guy, but then there's this, her older brother's friend who was a war hero, and he's all like scarred, and she's always like, even before, she's grown up loving him, even like before he went to the war, before he came back scarred, and the scars, like, they make no difference to her, she's still in love with him. This story is beautiful. Oh my God. Yeah, so those are the ones that I loved in this book. Please, if you love historical romance, get yourself the Mammoth Book of Regency Romance, edited by Trisha Tellep. Oh my good gravy. So, so good. I cannot recommend this anthology enough. Now, what am I reading now? Shoot, I didn't bring it with me. I didn't bring it like physically with me. But my paperback nighttime read is Alex Haley's Roots, which, again, not a romance novel, but it was on my TBR, on my TV perspective. Why can I never do this right? Not there. On my TBR, and I'm determined to get through. Like, I'm making a little dent. Like, look, that's not. It's not like that one's almost like empty. That top part's almost empty. I'm determined to make a dent in it. So my nighttime read right now is Roots. My ebook read, I don't have an Audible right now, but my ebook read right now is, let me get, is Made for Us by Samantha Chase. Let's see if you can we do that where it's not going? Can we? Yeah, that's better. Made for Us by Samantha Chase. And that's what I'm reading right now. Let me see if I can read the little blurby. Yes, I can. Okay. Aiden Shaughnessy, 30s. Location, a small southern town. You should message me if you're looking for a guy with a great work ethic and a big family he can't live without. Seriously, for the Shaughnessy's, family is everything. Once you're a part of the clan, we've got your back for life. Can't make time for love? For love? Words. The Shaughnessy brothers have spent the years since their mother's untimely death taking care of each other and trying to make their father proud. Oldest son, Aiden, is hardworking, handsome, successful, and still single. Sure, he'd like to have his own family someday, but who has the time? She'll show him how to find it. Zoe Dalton, a stunning designer Aiden meets on one of his construction jobs, has the beauty and heart to make Aiden realize how much he could be missing. But it's not easy to break down walls you've spent years building up. Now there's a major storm bearing down on the North Carolina coast, and it could be catalyst enough to force Aiden and Zoe into some major decisions of the heart. Make this book, boyfriend, your best vacation read ever. Samantha Chase will also bring you dazzling stories filled with characters you could swear were real, a family you'd give anything to be a part of, and a sweet contemporary romance that'll make you feel like you're falling in love for the very first time. So that is what I'm reading right now. And I literally just started it. We're talking like prologue. So that's going to be it for my November wrap up. So we'll see how that goes. Again, a bit of a dud, but yet there was wonderfulness as well. So that'll be it for this week's video. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/authorejamie. Like my Facebook page at facebook.com/authorejamie, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!